Hey everybody, welcome to The Current, the only show where if your answer is fallopian tubes, you'll still get a point. I'm your host Jose, and with me we have a special select group of guests. Like they mentioned before, it is our crossover episode with Capital Cineforum. Immediately to my left we have...
Jay Kong.
Ebit Brazil.
Edward Whitliff.
Those people. So, quick breakdown of the rules. These guys debate, I give them points, we send home a loser, and then we crown a winner. Sound fun?
I wasn't aware there
I just
were
got a
rules.
question.
What's your question?
Alright. Do we still get a point for fallopian tubes?
No.
Alright.
So, like, crowns, you guys are providing me with the crown.
Define crown,
So,
it's a
a
very
crown,
loosely defined term.
I have very specific... I'm allergic to nickel. I don't know if I sent that in.
Can I get it if it's a tiara? Can I get a tiara if I win?
Yeah, I want something feminine with diamonds and shit. So,
Moving on.
Anyways.
So our first topic of the week, guys, it's going to be Star Wars Blu-ray. You guys just watched it. It came out. What'd you think of it?
What can I say? Actually, episodes 1, 2, and 3 don't count. 4, 5, and 6 do.
Right.
Yep.
Just saying.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, okay.
Well, can somebody play devil's advocate and say that episode 1 was awesome?
Episode 1 is so good. No, I
actually think it was very well
What do
made.
you-
They were actually some very
Okay.
well made films.
Okay,
Artistic
episode 1.
masterpiece.
What do you mean? Okay,
This is-
pod racing had nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah.
Pod racing was just...
It was cool.
It was to sell toys.
Okay,
and
I'll admit,
it
it was
effectively
not-
sold
And
toys.
George Lucas
It
made
effectively
a
sold
buttload of money.
toys. It effectively sold some toys. I
And
bought
video
pod racing
games,
toys.
and
You
video
see-
games.
I'll
I'll give it that.
Let Ebit talk, Jake.
You say that it's a kids' movie, though, to sell toys. Why is the main plot about a trade dispute?
I gotta go on with that too.
Also, there's no
'Cause-
protagonist. Also, like, Anakin comes in 40 minutes.
Someone has seen the 90-minute review of
Yeah.
this movie.
Everyone's seen the 90-minute review of this movie.
And
This shit is
speaking
like
of
a
that-
non-issue.
Yeah, it's a piece of crap.
And speaking of that, can I say robbing the cradle when I see Padme and Anakin together? Just saying, 7 years apart, you know.
Yeah, it's really horrifying.
Hey, he's got pimp juice. Can you really deny a man his pimp juice?
Ultimately, fundamentally, the first three, the original trilogy was made by a team of people that George Lucas was a part of. He became
Yeah.
like a dictatorial, creative voice in the last
True.
one.
True.
And you can't have a film with one voice. You have to have like a team of people contributing.
Unless it's
And-
Spike Lee.
Unless
Like,
it's
Unless it's Spike Lee.
the shape of things to come.
He does the right thing.
Yeah. Unless it's Spike Lee, but that's side
As
from
long
the
as he
point.
doesn't have jungle fever. No, yeah, but it's. I mean, I don't think any of us are gonna say that the Blu-ray releases aren't pieces of shit because like you don't need to add to things that are already effective. There was no use.
Don't try to fix what isn't broken.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, let's look for those. If you're a director out there and you have a vision for a film, then would you say you have the right to get that film out there and let it be there in its full glorified masterpiece? There are a very select group of people who do think that the films are great. I mean, namely, he reached his targeted market, children. He looped in all the children. He has done what not many directors have managed to accomplish. He's brought in generations of fans, from like 3 decades apart, 2 generations to one franchise. I mean, isn't that a marvelous?
Yeah, but
feat?
like Twilight did that, and Twilight's crap.
And Harry
Are
Potter
you really
did
going to
that.
count
Harry
Twilight?
Potter did that
Don't
too.
count Twilight. You
I
lose
just-
a point.
I
You
played
lose
the-
point for that.
Really?
Keeping track. You lose
For
points
saying
for
Twilight?
mentioning Twilight.
Twilight.
For mentioning Twilight. You lost.
I'm
You
losing
lost.
points as
No,
I say
he
it.
didn't.
Twilight.
No,
Twilight
he
minus
didn't.
one.
Alright.
Twilight
He
minus
didn't do
one.
Can I
that.
say-
He did
Since
it.
he lost point, Jake, what do you guys
Can I also say, Lord of the Rings did that too. I mean, Lord of the Rings, really, really timeless
They
classic
had
novel.
one. Okay.
I don't know.
Are
I don't
you
know.
putting
Dude,
up your hand
can
for a
I
high
intersect?
five?
Can I intersect?
Intersect,
Because
yeah.
like you guys are
I thought you were putting up
with
your
your
hand for a high
bassy
five.
voices.
But with Twilight,
So, like, what I'm saying is, like, you can span generations, you can reach target audiences, and you can make a shit ton of money. But you can, he chose to mess it up. He chose to make a really shoddy product because he leaned on the fact that he knew he was going to make revenue from this.
Yeah.
He didn't even have to think about story. It's
And
sort
I'll
of like
add
the
on to
James
that.
Cameron thing, with Avatar. Like, he had a chance to make something really good, and he blew it. That's my opinion.
And I let that onto that episode 1. Terrible story. I mean, you start with a trade dispute. I mean, can't you go back to the old formula of just relying on Western
Just watch the
samurais and all those
70-minute
things
doc.
just
Just
meshing
watch the
together?
70-minute doc on
and the
YouTube.
funny thing is, like, you mentioned the
You
creepy
know, The
romance.
Simpsons did have an episode about that.
Yeah.
Where they go to George Lucas's ranch and he says, "Wow, I really did make a terrible movie about trade disputes.
Yeah, like-
about a tariff." They made a good parody about it, episode 2.
So I take it you're not into politics. Why are you on a debate show, Jake?
Well,
Why are you on a debate show?
okay, don't mix politics into Star Wars, because once you mix politics into Star Wars, you destroy the whole formula.
That's a super good point because like the original trilogy was like camp. It was like playful camp. It was like fun. And then they were like, what if we make it like about the meaning of political life and like do
No
George
politi-
Bush
That's
parallels?
Star Trek.
No political
Well, that's
subtext.
Star
I
Trek's,
like that. No political
area.
subtext. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what Star Trek
So-
was.
Star
You
Trek's
go back
territory,
to the. I forget the name of that episode. It had Beale, who was the aliens with the half black, half white masks.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they had that in light of the 1960s, late 1960s, when we
Right.
had the race riots in like those cities like Los Angeles, like Los Angeles and New York. Boston, all those cities. And it was supposed to go on about the whole idea about race and that, they end up destroying each other, racism. I mean, that has all those underlying themes. Like, I know Star Trek, a lot of the things they had to do with strictly race relations, and they try to adapt that into it. And same with the Westerns, like, not Stagecoach, I forget the name of that show. Bonanza, that's what it was. They try to adapt civil rights stories into that.
Yeah, TV of that era was famous for doing that, for sure.
Which, I mean,
yeah,
it's
but I mean,
fine.
like, even Star
It
Trek
makes for good television.
Next Gen, like Star Trek Next Gen in like the 80s and 90s, like they worked in some really pertinent themes. But it was good to go back to Star Wars. Like Star Wars, we don't watch Star Wars to like. It's not a show. It's a set of movies.
You want to be entertained.
So you're saying, so everybody here is in agreement that the thematic
it messed a lot of
politics
it
in
up.
Really messed
It
up.
was handled
Did it
poorly.
overshadow the awesome romance story?
There
The
was
awesome
no
romance.
romance.
The
That's
awesome romance
I was
story.
into romance.
What is so awesome
It
about
starts with-
an
it starts with
eventual incestuous
horrifying-
relationship?
It's so
Natalie Portman
forced.
isn't
It's
hot enough for you guys?
forced. It's forced.
Okay,
It's forced.
okay, I thought we were
It
talking
used
about
the Force.
Force.
Guys,
It
I
used
thought we
the
were talking
Force.
about Luke and Leia because that romance is like incestuous, and then you find
Yeah.
out it's incestuous in the last movie because
Well,
you're
that
like,
love triangle is just wonderful, but like
it's wonderful. You find out that the woman you're supposed to love is her sister.
I'm talking about cinematically. It's good. It's
No,
riveting.
it's not good when you
I'm
find
not
out.
talking
Are
about
you
the
dissing?
40.
Are you
I'm not talking
dissing?
about the 40-year-old chain-smoking blob. I'm talking about Natalie Portman. Was it not
Okay,
worth the
Natalie
walking her?
Portman
You just
is
call
Lord
Princess
Leia.
Leia a 40-year-old
You just called
chain-smoking
Carrie
blob?
Fisher a
Yeah.
40-year-old chain-smoking blob.
Yeah, what about
Okay,
that?
But
I'm just
when it
making
does-
sure
when
that
it does
everyone
come to
that
Natalie
you're
Portman,
owning
though,
me that
You
and
lose a
that
point. You
Yeah.
lose a point.
When it does come to Natalie Portman,
you
though,
lost a point with your viewers, sir.
but